Millions are spending their nights, guys, in darkness all over Europe because of a huge blackout, a electric outage, what they're calling a phenomenon that has led to catastrophic consequences to so many lives. Hey guys, it's Murad Murali, daily and consistent content, and let's get straight into this trending conversation and hit story where here in Europe there has been a significant outage in electricity in many countries, from Spain to France to Portugal, which has left millions and millions of people in darkness, a complete standstill. Stopping trains, cutting phone services, and shutting down traffic lights and ATMs for millions of people across the Iberian Peninsula. Head of Operations Eduardo Prieto told journalists that this was completely unprecedented and shocked, calling the event exceptional, extraordinary, and said that this was because of a strong oscillation in the European grid, which was behind the outage because the cause was still being determined. The public have been asked to refrain from speculation and urge people to call emergency services only if really necessary. It was the second serious European power outage that we have seen in the past 6 weeks, because in here, London, Heathrow Airport in the UK was an absolute standstill because of a sabotage. The Portuguese National Cybersecurity Centre in a statement said there was no sign of any cyber attacks, but now it's being discussed that there was some kind of phenomenon that took place. Huge power outage, and what has happened led to a rare atmospheric phenomenon, and that this was behind the outages. We still don't know the specific reasons for what has happened. The videos that are pouring out are so scary to see, that people are stranded on trains, stranded in fields, and they simply can't get out. Phones have been turned off. There's simply been no data. People aren't actually reaching people because they can't message. They have to actually go to stores and buy radios to try and find out what the radio stations are saying about what is happening. Now, this isn't actually the first power outage, because this also happened in Eastern Europe, in the Balkan countries, where outage took place for a couple of days and it wasn't really reported why. Now, this is taking place all over the Iberian Peninsula in Europe as well, and I'm genuinely surprised that this particular power outage did not happen in the UK. I'm not sure how it missed us here, but this being some kind of phenomenon and it not being explained to me makes me now want to ask more questions to find out what this hidden cause really is, because I feel like these electric outages are going to happen a lot more frequently to control certain ideations and agendas, narratives about stuff from the powers that may be. And I could see certain parts of the world simply just being shut off for a certain amount of days and then suddenly being turned back on. The blackout began around 12:33 p.m. CET and was attributed to a rare atmospheric phenomenon involving extreme temperature fluctuations in central Spain. These fluctuations caused anomalous oscillations in high voltage lines, a condition known as induced atmospheric vibration, leading to synchronization failures across the interconnected European power grid. Now, this particular situation is something that is extremely hard to predict. Therefore, it is also extremely hard to prepare for, and it could happen basically at any moment, and it's going to be very difficult to recover. Now, a lot of the grid in the Iberian Peninsula, the electric grid, has been been recovered over 50%. So, you know, that particular electricity outage is recovering. It hasn't completely recovered, but it definitely is getting there. But the question isn't recovering, because we knew that was going to happen. The question is, why is this happening? And it's been all over the news for the past couple of days here that I wanted to speak about it, because this has been a trending conversation, a hit story for the past 72 hours. Significant traffic in Madrid and Lisbon, and also in Barcelona. Train services and country stopped, and it wouldn't be possible to restart these trains on Monday even if the power returned. The subway systems also shut down, and people simply did not know how they were going to get home, and to a point, hospitals and other emergency services had to switch to generators. Gas stations stopped working as well. All battery powered radios were the ones that people needed, and 60 million people have been affected. Wow. It got so bad to the point that there were a lot of people, crowds who were desperate on roads, who were stranded, to hitchhike and try to get people to pick them up and dropped into locations. And a lot of drivers did do so, and a lot of drivers also did not do so because they wanted to get home to their family. So it just became a huge emergency, unbeknownst to all of us, because we're all still living a casual, normal life because we depend on electricity so much. But that which you can depend on is that which can easily be cut off. That which you can depend on is something that can easily be utilized as a mechanism to control you. Of course, we as humans, we rely on things to survive, and if the powers that may be can control these particular mechanisms, turning them off and on, that can also control the human population to an extent. And so I think that we need to ask the bigger questions as to why stuff like this is happening. For it to be described as a phenomenon means that something like this does not happen frequently, potentially not naturally either. I don't know if you guys have heard of this story. Maybe some of you guys are watching this from the Iberian Peninsula who have been affected by this. So I definitely would want to know about your thoughts in this conversation. This is very different from my current videos that I'm discussing, but it's just a trending conversation, and it's such an unfortunate circumstance that has happened that it just has my interest as of right now. And I wanted to gauge it with you guys and just speak about it for 10 minutes so that you guys can have an understanding of what is going on if you don't know, and that something like this I expect to happen more frequently as the time goes on, because I feel like stuff like this is intriguing. 1 minute we're controlling the weather and there's cloud seeding. You don't expect me to believe that certain electric outages of countries is related to some kind of ulterior motive. People are genuinely stranded and they have lost so much money. Businesses have shut down, stadiums are completely empty. It was horrific. It was genuinely horrific. It is a sweeping power outage affecting southern France, Spain, Portugal, and you know, Morocco was one of the countries that actually had to help and lend some of its electricity to these countries. So, you know, this is the second major power outage, the third if you want to count Heathrow Airport. What is happening? Why is this going on? Who is behind this? Guys, I have more questions than answers. Let me know your thoughts, guys, when it comes to this video. Comment down below, give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and I'll catch you guys soon for another video.